The first rule of entrepreneurship is you use what you have. Every self-made billionaire and millionaire was in the exact same position as you because they were self-made, which means that you have the same exact ingredients they had, which is nothing, but also nothing to lose. And that's the piece that I think anyone who starts out misses. If you lose it all, you're still at zero. You have unlimited shots on goal. It's like life gives you a lottery ticket and you're like, well, what if I lose? It's like, well, the lottery ticket's free and you can keep cashing it in until you win.
Alex has been absolutely taking the internet by storm. From opening gyms to launching software startups, Alex knows how to make any business worth $1 million.
Alex Hormozi, welcome back to the show.
Skills are the ultimate hedge against inflation. They're the hedge against currency changes. People are like, what's gonna happen to the dollar? Doctors are gonna get paid in seashells or Bitcoin or US dollars. It doesn't matter. If you have value to exchange, the world will exchange for it.
If someone only has a few $1,000s a year extra to spend on something, what's more important for them, to invest it in the stock market or real estate, or to invest in themselves?
You know where I'm going with this one. So let's say that you had $1,000, all right, saved up. If you invest in Apple, whatever, or you invest, like you'll have a 20% gain this year, a 30% gain this year. Okay, great. So now you have $1,300. But $1,000 can teach you a new lesson or a new skill that can take your earning capacity. Because if you only have $1,000 saved up, you either make very little money or you're not following the first rule, which is you got to spend way less than you make, right? And so if you're on the I don't make a lot of money part, by the way, you can still definitely save more. But if you're on the I don't make a lot of money part, then doubling your earning capacity would, by the end of the year, you might have $30,000 saved up rather than $1,000 or $1,300 in the alternative scenario. It's not even close. It's an order of magnitude difference. It's not even close. But everyone's afraid of work and everyone wants to get rich quick, which is why lotteries continue to make money. And so if you can just get out of that basic fallacy that you're somehow going to get lucky, I would rather get rich for sure. And be willing to, like, that's for me. Like, success insurance is extending the time horizon and being willing to learn skills along the way. That's success insurance. Because here, play out the other scenario. If you actually do hit the lottery, you also lose it because you don't have the skills to keep it.
It's true.
So the other path is pure fallacious thinking. It's false. It's a false dream. It's never going to result in wealth. If you get rich quick, you get poor even faster. We've already seen.
Say it again.
If you get rich quick, you get poor even faster.
Why?
Because you don't. So my favorite magic card, hold on, I'm going to bring it back. My favorite magic card was this card called Burning Wish in Magic the Gathering. And the flavor text on the card said, she wished for a weapon, but not the skill to wield it. And I always loved that text because I thought about that as business, as money. It's like we wish for money, but not the skill to wield it. Because money is just a potential for exchange. And so if you don't know how to make it, then everything you have is just a nut that's going to go down. Because you also don't know how to multiply it if you got lucky. Because anybody who wants to get rich quick only is relying on luck. You're relying on chance. You're gambling. You're not investing. And so if you want to play the game, and unfortunately, the tweets, the Instagram posts, the whatever, we see someone screenshot when they go from $10,000 to $1.5 million. You just don't see the other 100 people or 1,000 people who put 10,000 and went to $1. And so the idea is, I want to get rich for sure. And the surefire way to get rich, and the reason all these billionaires get up there and they say, hey, just invest in skills, and everyone's like, sure, it's because that's the only thing that protects you. And I come from a country, or my father comes from a country rather, where my family, everything we had was taken from us by the government. And so it's very real that you may have to start over halfway through your life at zero. And if you do lose it all, the only thing you have is what you can do with your brains and your hands. And so my grandfather, who I was very, very close with, used to always say, you have 2 hands and 1 brain, use them. And my father came here with $1,000 and he built the life that he has now. He's a doctor. But that was only possible because he had skills. And even though everything was taken, land, houses, everything was taken, you can't take, no divorce, no tax, no government can confiscate who you are and what you can do. And I see that as the ultimate freedom and independence of excellence and representation of excellence.
If someone has skills, but they have a bad relationship with money, or they have money wounds, or they have money beliefs that they live in fear around whenever they receive money, are they able to earn and make a lot with those money wounds?
Yeah. And so I will first off, I don't know what money wounds are, but I will, if I can define it the way I would define what you're saying,
Yes.
so it's like bad money beliefs, money wounds, money trauma, bad money
Yes.
energy, all of that I'd bucket into bad behaviors under specific conditions, which is that you don't know how to behave with money. That's all it is.
How do people learn how to behave with money?
Well, you just follow very simple rules. The first rule is that you spend less than you make, period. No questions asked. That's it. You spend
What if
less than
money?
you make.
What if people have never had money and then all of a sudden, oh, I got $1,000, and they get excited or they get scared or they get worried? How do you manage the energy that money brings to you?
So I think it's thinking in ratios. So it's like, I will save this percent, I will spend this percent goes to my house or my lodging, this goes to food, and you just have to stick with it. Now, I think that process is good to go through, but I agree that when you don't make a lot of money, what feels like a lot of sacrifice results in very low payoff. And that's why I'm bullish on put as much as you can in increasing your earning capacity.
Skills.
Yeah. And the thing is you don't have to buy, so you really only have to have one skill, and then you can get every other skill you need in your life. And so when I got into the business game, the only real skill I developed quickly was sales. And I didn't even have that skill, but I had to for the gym. So I learned how to sell and I got pretty good at it. And so I would go to these networking things, I would meet other business owners, and I felt like I was a collector of fine skills. I would find people and I'd be like, hey, how do you get customers? And somebody would be like, oh, I'm really good at Google PPC. And I'd be like, ooh, I don't know how to do that. That sounds interesting. And so what I would do is I'd go and say, hey, what's your sales process look like? And they'd be like, oh, it's okay. And I'd be like, hey, do you mind if I just I'm pretty good at it and I can walk you through what we do because I might help you out. And so then this is the key part. If they said yes, which plenty of people take free work, I would then treat it as though they had paid me for like a $10,000 like consulting gig. I would do tons of research. I would talk to their team. I would re-script what they had, and then I would train their team on it. I would tell them how to manage it. And this is when you know you did it right. I would present it to them as though I was like making a presentation, and they'd be like, "Dude, this is too much, man." Like, whoa. And then the magic thing comes out. They say, "What can I do for you?" And I'd be like, "It's funny you ask. Can you show me your PPC stuff?"
Right.
And the thing is that they would give me less than I gave them, but it was more than I had. And so it was a net positive gain. And so you only need to develop one skill, and then you can barter for everything else.
Yes.
So like in the networking groups that I joined, I got voted the best, the member of the year in the first year they ever had it. When I was in my fraternity back in the day, I became voted president. Like I always try, like when I was in high school, I was editor-in-chief of the literary magazine and vice editor of the newspaper. Like I always tried to how can I trade what I know? How can I just keep trading up? And that's fundamentally what I've done my whole life is just trade up. And the risk here is that let's say you do all this work and the guy says thanks and then just gets off the call. Well, there's two possible scenarios. One is you're not as good as you think you are. Or they don't function with reciprocity.
Yes.
And that's okay. Because again, volatility only appears volatile with low volume.
Yeah, you got to do it a lot of times.
If you do it 100 people, you'll get what you want. And if there's 3 guys who know PPC, you give to all 3 and maybe one of them helps you out.
Absolutely.
But you're still better off than you were before. And so this is the part, like this is how I leapfrogged in my earning capacity.
Really?
Oh, 100%. And then for the people I couldn't, I would do a favor and ask to pay them. Be like, I would do whatever I could. And I would encourage people I spend so much money for one-on-one time. And I also think there's something very powerful about being in person. And
Not Zoom.
yeah, I think that you can observe far more behaviors in person. There's so many things that are lost on Zoom.
What's the most you spent on one-on-one time?
I spent $350,000 for an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
With who?
Guy was worth $7 billion.
What was the biggest lesson he taught you in that 1 hour?
He said, protect your reputation with your life.
Did you need to spend 350 grand for that?
I think that there's something powerful about knowing that someone who is much further ahead says it to you. Mm-hmm. And it's not that advice is something you haven't heard before, but it's the advice that you needed to hear right now. And that was what I needed to hear right now.
Protect your reputation with your life. What is